Chords are written in chord blocks. It's a notation that guitarists use to notate chords. Basically, what you see in your book is a blank chord block. Basically, it's a diagram of a picture of the end of your guitar. If you can imagine the end of your guitar being like this, the dark line at the top of the diagram is the nut right here, and then it goes down with each fret as you come down the chord diagram. As you go across from side to side, horizontally, it goes across the strings. Just imagine like it would be a picture of the top of your guitar, going from the strings across like that. Now, the different lines and the different circles mean different things, so let me just explain those real quick before we get into that. An open circle, you'll notice on the bottom diagram, an open circle, it has an open circle over that first string. What that is telling you is to play that string, but it's going to be open. You're not going to be fingering any note with it. It'll be just like that. And then let's see what's happening on the second string. You've got a filled-in circle on that first fret. That's telling you they want you to put your first finger on that first fret, okay, and play that note. So we've got an open one on the first finger on that second string. The third string, we've got another open. And then look what's happening on that fourth string. We've got a filled-in circle over the second fret. That means put your finger there. Now, which finger do you use? Well, the number underneath that filled-in circle, that 2, is telling you that they want you to use your second finger to do that. The numbers will not always be there, but sometimes they're there. So that 2 is telling you they want you to use your second finger for that. On the fifth string, we've got our third finger there on that third fret. So let's see if we can play all of these together. Okay? Very good. Now you'll notice on the fifth string, we've got an X. On the sixth string, the bottom string, we've got an X. What is that telling you? Well, that's telling you not to play that string. Some chords are 6-string chords, some chords are 5-string chords, some chords are 4-string chords. This one is a 5-string chord, this C chord that we're learning now. So we don't play that 6th string at all. So make sure and don't get sloppy and play that 6th string anyway. That wouldn't be right. You're just playing from the 5th string down. Now you try it. You really got to press those fingers down in order to get it to sound out right. Okay, you ready to learn your first 2 chords? The first chord is a C chord. Now you'll notice on this diagram, it doesn't have anything over that 6th string. Sometimes an X will be there to tell you not to play that string. Sometimes if it doesn't have anything on that string, a filled-in circle or an open circle, it's telling you not to play that string as well. They just give you the ones that you're actually supposed to be playing. Let's try that C chord one more time, starting at that 5th string. We're going to go through it, each string, one string at a time. Ready? Starting on the 5th string. 3rd finger, 2nd finger, open, 1st finger, and open. Now we're going to play all of them together. Ready? Get back up at the 5th string, let it loose. We're going to play them all together. Ready? Go. One more time. Now, sometimes your chord may sound, if you don't have your fingers in the right spot, you may kind of get a couple notes that aren't sounding particularly right, or they're buzzing in some respect. Check your hand position. Well, this is that C that I was trying to play on that 5th string, and it's too far back. I've got to move that finger where it's just hugging up behind that fret, and then he comes out nice and clear. Now, if you don't have good hand strength, and that's what we're building up right now, it may kind of, even though you have your finger in the right spot, it may come out as kind of a dead note like that. The only difference between this and this is putting my fingers down a little bit stronger. If you notice, I didn't move my fingers at all. It's basically how hard I'm pressing them down. And if you press them down hard enough, eventually that chord will open up and blossom up. That's a C chord. Now, the second chord we're going to learn is a G7th chord. C is probably the most common chord you're ever going to find. G7 is probably the next most common chord you're ever going to play. Here, let's go through it string by string. That first string, I've got my first finger on that first fret. Then the second string, third string, and the fourth string are all open. Well, that's easy. Now on the fifth string, I've got my second finger. And on the sixth string, the lowest string, that E string, remember, I've got my third finger. Let's play them all together. And now all together. Very good. Okay, if you look at exercise number 1, it goes through the C and the G7th chord alternating between the two. So let's start with that. Here's the C chord. Take a second. Get all of your fingers in the right spots. And that diamond right there is just telling you that you play that C chord and just hold it until it's time for the next G7. So let's play that C chord first. Ready? Go. Now let's switch over to that G7. I can move my third and second finger just up a string, and I move my first finger down a string, and I'm there. Now I go back to the C chord. I move those back into place there. This one up, and I'm at a C chord. Back to the G7th. And now to the C chord. We better try that one more time. Somehow, getting all those chords and the fingers together and all that takes a little bit of time and effort. Let's do that one more time. Start on that C chord. Now switch to that G7th. You may have to do it finger by finger, or if you can do it all together, that's even better. Let's do a G7th. Back to the C chord now. 5-string chord, remember. Don't play that lowest 6th string. Back to G7. All the strings are used on the G7. And then back to the C. Take a look at exercise number 2. This is called slash notation. You'll see this quite a bit as a guitar player. This is something we play in quite a bit. The different slashes, all that's telling you at this stage of the game is just you're going to be strumming one strum for each slash that you see. Okay, so let's get our C chord back up again. And let's do exercise number 2. Ready, play. 3, 4, then the next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now G7th. Switch over to G7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back to that C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now take a look at exercise number 3. Now we're going to alternate those chords a little bit quicker, which is, I know it's probably getting a little fast for you, but let's try it. You ready? Start on that C. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to the G7. Try and not hesitate between each chord. Back to C. G7th. There you go. Back to C. Very good. That's the C, and that's the G7th chord. Now, it may have moved a little fast for you. You may have trouble keeping up at this point, but after we do it, and we go through our workshop time here in a minute, then you'll be able to knock these out.